All right, it is a pleasure to come around to talk sport once again. And of course, we appreciate you so much for joining us wherever you are around the world. This is Nigeria Superfans Forum. And of course, don't forget that we've been telling you to please go to Sport Africa, our new YouTube channel, to subscribe, because in a short while, that is where we will be posting all of our content, our full content on that platform. It will no longer be here because of one or two issues that we have with YouTube. So please go to Sport Africa to subscribe to our new YouTube channel, because like I said, in a short while, these you might no longer be getting the full content here on this platform. Okay, where else to get started? But first, let's introduce Kyle Dogundari and James Agberebi are here, and so much to talk about. A lot has gone down on the continent regarding football in the past 2-3 days. Kyle Dogundari and James Agberebi, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Femi. It's always a pleasure, as usual.
Thank you, Femi. Happy to be here.
All right. Okay, James cannot be happier because, of course, Arsenal, they had to rescue themselves from Chelsea over the weekend. But guys, let's get started. Of course, about the African Football League over the weekend, the maiden edition kicked off. And Enyimba International, of course, the Nigeria's representative, they lost at home 1-0 to Wydad Casablanca of Morocco, but that hasn't been even the talking point at all. But okay, let's look at the other fixtures. Of course, we talked about how they were forced to play their own game in Tanzania Dar es Salaam, to be specific. They won 1-0 against Esperance, and Petro de Luanda, of course, the Angolan side, they lost 2-0 to Mamelodi Sundowns. But in Nigeria, the defeat of Enyimba is not even the talking point. It is the disgraceful manner in which Enyimba International of Aba, two-time CAF Champions League winners, wrote the number on the jersey of one of their players. And even some Nigerians are calling on the Confederation of African Football to throw Enyimba out of the competition because it is disgraceful. According to what we heard, $4 million are at stake in this competition. So if you are going to be getting $4 million, at least you should be getting better. You should be doing better, I meant to say. And a lot of Nigerians have attacked Kanu Nwako, the new chairman of Enyimba International. Kyle, I want you to get talking on this. How did you feel when you saw that? I'm sure you saw that picture, innocent, written by hand, and number 3, written by hand, very disgraceful. Kyle.
Yeah, I saw it. Someone actually sent it to me, and this was somebody outside Nigeria who sent it to me and said, "See your people. Now they are my people." There's no excusing that culture of anyhowness, Femi. It is the culture of we can do and get away with all of this. These things they can do and get away with it in the MPFL. They know that worst case scenario, they are reprimanded just like a slap on the wrist. But the
games that might not even be on TV. So
yeah, that's another thing. There should not be any letting off in this case, Femi. They should be fined heavily by CAF to the full extent of what the law says. Number 1. Then number 2, Femi, I've told you this before in private and on air that Enyimba, number 1, that CAF itself does not need this competition. Enyimba is not ready for this competition, and they have proven it. Femi, where do you do this kind of a thing in God's name? This is so disrespectful that it's also disgraceful, not even disrespectful. It is offensive, it is disgraceful and disrespectful, Femi.
It is disrespectful to the competition.
To the competition, yeah, that's why I said it's disrespectful to the competition, disgraceful to Nigeria, and it's also offensive to all of us. So they should be heavily fined. Whether they progress in the competition or not, Femi, they should not be allowed to get away with this. They should not be allowed to get away with this. Whatever it is, at the end of the day, they shouldn't be allowed to get away with it. So when things like this happen, because like I said earlier, it is the culture of anyhowness, the things that we do and we get away with at home. Now we have exported that to the continent. And if we are too big to be reprimanded at home, then probably the reprimands come from abroad. So if CAF should heavily fine them, and I'm sure CAF will fine them, let nobody doubt that, they will be fined. whether we talk about it or not. I want the fine to be so heavy that it will even outweigh whatever they stand to win in the competition, Femi. So that will teach them a lesson. And it will teach Nigeria a lesson that you cannot do anyhow and not see anyhow. That's what I think.
Okay. Okay. James, let's talk about this. Putting that picture on the screen for our fans around the world to see what we've been talking about. This is what the two-time CAF Champions League winners have done to Nigeria. And I think you should judge for yourself, or even determine what should be the punishment. Even in NNL, Nigeria National League, where the second tier of Nigerian football, you don't even see stuff like this because it will be heavily cracked down upon. James, this is similar to more than I think Enyimba shouldn't even get away with. And like I said, people have been eating your club legend, Kanu Nwankwo. They said this is someone who played at the highest level, that this is too embarrassing to even talk about. Handwritten name, handwritten number on the back of a jersey. James, in 21st century, in an international competition that a country like Saudi Arabia, we heard, has put a lot of money to partner with the Confederation of African Football just to make sure that clubs get more money. And this is what Enyimba has done, James.
I think Kayode has said it all. There's nothing I want to say that he has not said. That's what I really picked from what he said, this culture of anyhowness. We just feel that we can do away with so many things. What we do away with here, we can still carry that habit, that bad attitude to international competition.
But James, sorry, what people are saying is that how did Kanu not even see this? The chairman of the club, Kanu Nwankwo, a legend, someone who played at the highest level of football. How did he not see this? That is what people are saying.
Okay. I don't understand. It's not Kanu Nwankwo that are going to check the numbers and names on the back of. You have people who should be responsible for that. Is it Kanu that will leave his post and come down and start checking the number of each player and how it's being written? I don't think it would be fair to start calling out Kanu. I believe that he would have seen what is going on now, what is trending, So I think I have been saying that I think we should remove that professional, that's what we call professional in the name of the Nigerian league. I think it should just be Nigerian Football League and leave out, because there's nothing professional about our clubs. This is just one of how many. Enyimba is just one of. We've seen a lot of things that they do that they don't even care. They don't even know what it means to be professional. I mean, you said it 2 times CAF Champions League, but now we expect Enyimba to be among the elite clubs in Africa. But it's like same of the same. Like that story, they just came and just went, and it's back to default for them and also for other teams. So for me, I won't blame Kanu like that, because Kanu cannot. I don't think he is in charge. At least they have department. Everybody has their own roles. So I mean, I think this is good now that everything is in the open now, and it will see the negative trend that's going on about Enyimba, because when he came on board as chairman, high hopes that somebody who have played to the highest level, I now come crashing down with this disgraceful act. I just saw something trending on Twitter. I was like, X. I was like, what's really happening? I know Nigeria, once this starts trending, like, that it's something serious. When I now saw the picture, I was like, wow, what is this again? Disgracing Nigeria in the face of everybody. For the maiden edition of a competition that, to me, just like what Kayode said, I'm not a big fan of the competition. It's not different from, and I was surprised that they lost. So I don't know. Let's see what will happen. Whether they are going to correct this, but when you don't sanction things, you don't come hard on them. You don't take something out of them. They will continue to do things like this.
I think a lot is actually going on in that club, because currently, they played this competition. They played in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, because they couldn't play in their own facility. Remember, we brought to you pictures from the Aba Township Stadium. That stadium is in a totally despicable situation. You have a seat already taken over by Spyro Jara and all that. So a lot of things are actually happening, because we even heard that Kanu Nwankwo told a number of staff at the club to reapply for their position. So we do not know whether there are even individuals who are supposed to to take care of the disgraceful thing we saw yesterday. But that was no one. But certainly, I know there will be answers regarding this in the coming days. So we'll be getting our fingers crossed regarding this. But it is disgraceful. It is too disgraceful to even to talk about. Okay, let's talk about the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations, because Mikel Obi, the former captain of the Super Eagles, has said the Super Eagles must be prepared to face the big boys at the tournament if they want to win it. And of course, we have the likes of Senegal, Morocco, Egypt, Ivory Coast, even Cameroon. I know at this point, Ghana will be maybe a walkover for Nigeria. But Kyle, do you think these Super Eagles that all of us are so concerned about, particularly in the goalkeeping department, can even beat any of these big boys? I know you always talk about tournament bounds, and I actually believe that. I think we've seen it happen over and over again. But with what we've seen, do you think these Super Eagles can actually beat any of these big boys that we've mentioned?
Femi, let me throw this back at you. Imagine for a moment that you are non-Nigerian and you see this team with all of its strengths and weaknesses and imperfections. Do you think this team, you are not a Nigerian now, so take away the patriotism, do you think this team is capable of winning that competition?
I do not.
God bless you. That's one. Secondly, and this is more important, it is possible, not possible, but on the basis of what we see, this is like next to, let me not say improbable, but then a lot can happen between now and January. And the most important one, and I'm happy you have said it, is the tournament bounce. If you start the competition well, you get into your stride, you get into the rhythm of the tournament. Before you know it, you are like in the knockout stages, and anything can happen. And once you get to the knockout stage of any competition, Femi, it is anybody's game. All you just need to do is, you don't have to be the best team in a tournament. You just have to be the better team on the day you play each match. So whether you win by penalties or you win by the odd goal or by whatever, all you need, as long as you get to the and as the tournament progresses, you also get better. Like I said, in 2013, you know that if we were to rank pre-tournament, that Nigerian team that won eventually was not going to be in my top 4. I wasn't going to even put them in my top 4. The only reason I would put them is like Nigeria traditionally have this pedigree of getting to the semi-finals at the AFCON most of the times that they've been there. That's the only reason I would have included them. But based on the kind of opposition that they face, I wouldn't put them as potential champions. So that itself, it's not as if we don't have a team, Femi. We do have one, but the team is grossly imbalanced. You see a team that has the kind of firepower that we have, arguably the best in Africa as we speak, the kind of firepower that we possess. But then you look at a midfield that is still struggling to find itself. You look at the defense that you don't even know who is going to play who. Then you look at the goalkeeping department where we don't even like have
an identity, so to say.
Like you see in my part of the country, where we probably have to follow on surely. For those who don't speak my language, what it means is you should have a good day. What it means is that you should have a good day. So for me, that team is not a team that champions are made of. But you know what, in football, I've seen enough to know that anything can happen. But I will not be putting my money on Nigeria to win.
Okay. James, let's take a trip to Ghana now. You know, we've talked a lot about Cresutin and the pressure that is mounting on him following Black Stars pour out in the last FIFA free window in the international football. Now, let's talk about some ex-internationals in Ghana. They are saying that Cresutin doesn't look like someone who will take the Black Stars to where they want to go. And of course, the likes of Charles Taylor, Emmanuel Badu, they've talked about the fact that something needs to be done as soon as possible. Now, some are even saying that the likes of Didiayu, sorry, and of course, Waka, some are saying that Alfred Duncan, remember Alfred Duncan, the Fiorentina guy who left the Black Stars because of what he thought that he wasn't given the chance of showcasing himself in the national team, travel from Italy to play. Some are even saying Jeffrey Schlupp should be brought back. You know, a lot of issues. A lot of people are now suggesting or what they feel is the solution to Chris Sutton at this moment. But again, you can't blame them because they are stakeholders and they can't just sit back and watch the Black Stars, continue to perform woefully on the international stage. 41 years down the line, they've not won the AFCON. The 2026 World Cup qualifiers are around the corner, and you and I knew how the Black Stars even qualified for the AFCON. They had to wait until the last day. So apparently something is wrong, and everybody is trying to find a solution.
Well, they have every right to be concerned because, especially looking back at that 2 friendly games, when they played against Mexico, we thought, okay, maybe it's Mexico and they're just trying to get to their stride. And all of a sudden, the US just brought them crashing down and destroying every expectation and every hope on it, So, I mean, they have every right to be worried, but I don't think are they going to sack Chris Sutton now? Who are they going to bring in that is now going to perform wonders, perform the magic? So the good thing is those friendly games expose a lot of things. The good thing is they are friendly games; they are not the major tournaments. So is it not better for you to start getting those setbacks now? Because the World Cup qualifiers.
Sorry, James. Sorry to cut in again. Sorry to cut in again. If you've been a coach and you've played at least 4 competitive games before now, should you now wait for the friendly game before you identify the might not even review those things to you? But you played 4 competitive games.
Maybe who are those teams that they played against? They played against Cape Verde. They played against which other teams? So you expect them?
They are football clubs.
They
are national teams. I meant to say.
Those teams they played will not really expose them. Will not really bring out. No disrespect to the likes of Cape Verde and Angola and the rest that they played against in the qualifier. You expect the Black Stars on a normal day. You expect them to beat those. I know that they are going to qualify, but
they struggled. That is the thing. But they also struggled. They were not competing even against those teams.
The important thing is qualifiers and the major tournament. They are 2 different things. We've seen teams struggle in the qualifiers and they still go ahead. Brazil almost didn't qualify for the 2002 FIFA World Cup, but who won? Germany also almost didn't qualify. You remember when England defeated them 5-1, but they still got to the final.
Both of them played final, yeah.
This game against Mexico and the USA, I understand the backlash, the annoyance and everything, but I think they've been able to test themselves to be solid side. I think they have exposed the team. So it's not left for the coaching crew now to know that they have their work cut out and they have to be, put all hands on deck. But when everybody start talking and okay, you want to throw him out now. Who are you going to bring? When you bring a new coach will come with his own, like I think you're starting from square one. So they should just take this friendly game as a big lesson and think of ways to improve the team. One of the biggest problems of the Black Stars is that they don't score goals, no matter how good they play. The game against Mexico, 0-0 at halftime, second half, they collapsed. Against USA, very bad first half, second half, they were able to stable. So which means there's still a lot of work to be done. And the good thing again is the World Cup qualifier. They're not going to play the likes of Nigeria, Senegal, or maybe Egypt. At least there are teams that they can still overcome if they can put their hearts together. So for me, it's not all doom and gloom for the team.
Okay.
But just get the right players and make sure the coach touch on the areas that he feels the team is still lacking.
But if you ask me, I think I share the sentiment of some of these guys because really, I do not think if you're an experienced coach, I do not think it takes a generation before you do 1 or 2 things that people will begin to see your impact in a team. Kade, let's talk about Cameroon now. Of course, this young guy, Ugo Ekitike, I'm sure you must be familiar with him. Is currently the subject of I don't know, between Cameroon and France. It's been a subject of tug of war, so to say, between Cameroon and France. This young guy, he plays for Paris Saint-Germain, but he doesn't even get the playing time. We heard that Thierry Henry, who is the manager of the under-21 team of the French national team, has been trying to convince him about not ignore the advances of Samuel Eto'o to play for Cameroon. But Kade, this boils down to what we've been talking about. This guy doesn't even play for PSG. He sits on the bench more often than not. but Cameroon is chasing him to come and represent the country. Same thing we had with Spain and Morocco with Lemar, you know, the young guy. So this boils down to, I think, what you've always been saying, that, you know, these guys who share dual nationality should be allowed to actually decide for themselves which country they want to represent.
This has always been my problem with African FAs. We are so lazy and laid back that we wait for other countries to do our hard work for us, identify players, nurture them, develop them until they become almost a finished article. Then we don't want to claim them simply because they have ancestry with us. On the basis of what will Cameroon be claiming that boy? Why? Because his parents come from Cameroon.
His father is Cameroonian.
What is the content of their contribution to the development of this boy? Nothing, absolutely nada. So why would they sit back and not allow France to reap from their labor? It doesn't make sense for me. That's one. Then number two, whether the boy decides to play for France or not should be the decision of the boy and his family. Nobody should pressure them. If they decide,
they will be Lamine Yamal, yeah.
Yeah, the same with even all the ones that have come to play for Nigeria and other African countries. And I say this, if the boy eventually wants to play for Cameroon, good, God bless him, all the best. But we should not put this subliminal pressure on them that you have to come and play for us simply because your grandparents originated from somewhere in Cameroon in the year 15 BC. No. The most important thing is let this boy develop. If he's not getting game time at PSG, probably because he's way down the pecking order. There are others who are much more mature than him.
I understand
that. But the fact that he's even in the team itself is something. If it's like when you rush to make him an international now, you are heaping pressure on the boy. I do not see how this is going to help him. If I were him, what I would say is I will put out a statement that my international future will be decided at the right time. Okay. So that they stop all of this undue pressure on the boy. Let him develop at his own time. If he gets to play with PSG, fine. If he doesn't, he can go somewhere else. Some people tend to forget that players develop at different levels, different times. The other guy that is at Arsenal, who is doing wonderful things today, was considered not good enough in Real Madrid. Not Real Madrid. Because of talent. But because at the time he went to Real Madrid, he was just a 16-year-old. How would you expect a 16-year-old to break into the Real Madrid team? So that does not mean this boy is not good enough. It's just that his time will come. But if you now had the pressure of being an international player with it, it could have adverse effects on him. Everybody should just allow the boy to breathe. When he's ready for international football, he's going to make up his mind about who he's going to play for. We should not rush. We should not rush him.
Okay. Even when some of these guys are ready to play for maybe the country of their origin, or so to say, of course, we know what could happen. Remember the things that Kylian Mbappe's father said, that when his son wanted to play for the Cameroon, some persons in the FA were asking for a bribe. James, let's talk about, let's go to Egypt now, because this is almost a case of another man's meat is another man's poison, so to say. Because Egyptian national team coach Victoria, he said he believes that the Black Stars, Ghana, that you and I know, are favourite to win the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. I saw some comments that someone said you could even sue Victoria for this statement. And quickly, I'll quote what he said. We have Ghana, a really good team that's always been a favourite to win the competition. James, I don't know, but this statement, do you think is just trying to, they are in the same group in 2023 Africa Cup of Nations, I'm sure you remember. Do you think it's just a statement of trying to, or a mind game, so to say, ahead of the tournament?
Femi, you see, one thing about big teams is no matter how bad they've been playing, you cannot rule them out or shove them aside because they are going through a rough patch. They've been unlucky. We always said this. I see the Black Stars, fine, they won it last in 1982. But remember, from that time, they've played in 3 finals. They've just been unlucky. The 92 Nations Cup that they lost, I watched the final. And our backward card said some time ago that they were the best team in that 92 tournament. You're so fortunate that they lost to Abedi Pele in the final. 2010, that was a young team. They lost very experienced Algerian Egyptians. Then 2015 against Cote d'Ivoire, they had it in their hands. Maybe pressure or tension or everything just made them lose the final. At the point they were ahead in the shootout against Cote d'Ivoire. So for him to come out and say Black Stars, yes, they can. They've won it before. I've kept saying that in the 60s, they played in 4 straight finals. In the 70s, they got to the final 1978. Then they won it. So they are not novice when it comes to the AFCON. It's just unfortunate that it's been a long time they've won it. Who said not win it if they put their hearts together? We've seen teams that they go into tournament and end up winning it. In 2013, Nigeria had they were so lucky to qualify from the group stage, but get to the knockout friend ball game entirely. So it's not as if he's trying to just say things to make them feel. When you play in the Black Stars in Africa, they're playing one of the superpowers in Africa. So whether they are in poor form or want to meet them, this is the same Black Stars that trashed Egypt 6-1 in the first leg in 2014 qualifier, 6-1 in Kumasi on Accra. So he knows what he's saying. They are not doing well. That doesn't mean if they get to the competition, they might just get that bounce that we've been talking about. They are not doing well. That doesn't mean they get to the competition. They cannot do something. So you cannot just rule them out. This might be the Nations Cup that the drought. I also agree with him that fine, the team is not doing well now, but the fact is they qualify for the AFCON. They struggle to qualify. Qualifiers, main tournament, they are 2 different. I end up winning it. Never.
Okay. Sorry, we have just a few minutes to go, but quickly, I want you to talk about this. Let's talk about Out of Hope, because their coach, Martin Koopman, remember, he joined them during the summer. He's Dutch, and the team has been performing very woefully in the Abepa Premier League. They've not been scoring goals. They have 5 points from 5 games, and he said he's not responsible for the team's inability to score goals. And he went as far as saying that it is not a problem. It is not just a problem with his team, that even the Black Stars have been struggling to score goals. He said, there is a deep problem in Ghana football. He said the problem is always with the national team. The wingers and the strikers cannot score goals. And I keep saying it is not only with us, but it is happening in the national team and other clubs. Is this a case of trying to shift blame, or is this a case of saying the truth as it is?
I do not agree with him. It should actually be the other way around. If things work well at the club side, it will easily translate to the national team. You don't teach people how to play football at the national team, Femi. No, especially not at the senior national level. You could teach them basics at under 17, under 15, but by the time you qualify to play for the Black Stars, nobody teaches you how to do the basics, how to do the rudimentary. What you learn is formations, tactics. So if you do not know how to play at the club side, you won't know how to play at the national team level. I think the coach is getting his mixed up. He should be concentrating. That's why he's hired. He should be concentrating on making his players better. And I agree with him. One has to be better at one level so that he can translate to the other. If he's better at this level, it will help the national team, not the other way around. So in that case, I do not agree with him.
Okay. Kade do not agree with Koopman, certainly. Sadly, time is not always our friend. Each time we come around to talk sport. To our viewers around the world, we appreciate you so much. Please don't forget to go to Sport Africa with a K on YouTube to subscribe to our new YouTube channel, because like we told you earlier, we will soon stop posting our full content on Nigeria Super Fans Forum because of 1 or 2 issues. So we will be migrating completely to that other channel. So please go there and subscribe. The 2026 World Cup qualifiers, the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations, the build up are gradually coming around. So we will take you into the camp of all the teams. So you wouldn't want to miss that wherever you are around the world. So we'll see you later in the week. I remain Ashalolu Afemi. James Agberebi and Kyle, thank you for coming today on the show for your incisive analysis.
Thank you,
as always. Yeah.
Thank you, Femi.
So, yeah. All right. So we'll see you all later in the week. Bye for now.